Welcome to Journey Home to Self. This is a place for us to explore the milestones, the roadblocks, the pit stops, and the breathtaking sights on the most important journey of our lives, the journey of coming back home to you. My hope is that through the stories, insights, knowledge, and wisdom we share here, you get inspired and activated to widely fall in love with choosing yourself every single moment. I'm your host, Deepshika Sairam, and I am truly so excited and honored that you are here. Let's dive in and journey home to self together. Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Journey Home to Self. I am Deepshika and I'm so glad that you are here. Today's episode is full of color and is meant to get you out of your funk. So if you are feeling like you are going through the motions of your everyday life and you've started to feel the resentment, you've started to feel that something is off and something is missing, then pay attention. Today we're talking about how you can change all of that with the art of positive disruption. My guest today, Kristina Eisenhower, is a life coach and the founder of Kaleido Living, a creative empowerment agency that teaches the art of positive disruption, energy alchemy, and inspired experimentation for creating your most vibrant human experience here on Earth. She's the author of a weekly newsletter called The Kaleido Scoop, an oracle card deck called Conscious Energy Oracle Cards, and her first book, The Art of Positive Disruption, is a creative playbook full of stories, experiences, and activities that'll make your everyday anything but normal and boring. So get ready because we are ready to positively disrupt your everyday. And if you're thinking, what the heck does that mean? Then let's get right into it. Hello, Kristina. Welcome to Journey Home to Self.
Hello. So good to see you.
So good to see you. I'm excited about this conversation. I'm just going to go right into it. Kristina, tell us, what is positive disruption?
Well, positive disruption, in addition to being part of the title of my book, what it means really is that breaking through or breaking out of some rote or negative patterns, the kinds of just going through the motions, stuck in a rut, those kinds of feelings. So it's to positively disrupt those, to, you harness your energy in order to do such things.
I love that. The image that I get in mind is, one of those machines that they use in construction when they're
like jackhammer.
yeah, jackhammer, and I like that it goes inside the surface, inside the core of our being, that we have hardened from all those negative patterns, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So and it could be a disruption of activity, or it could be a disruption of thought, or, feeling, belief, all of those things. So,
yeah. So obviously I want to talk a lot more detail into that and how can people start to do that. But before we even go into the details, I want to know about your journey. How did the path of positive disruption chose you?
yeah, well, it definitely chose me. Although I am always trying to be positive, but the whole journey started out as a 1-year experiment or project, because I was in that funk. I was feeling like I was just going through the motions, and it was like, is this all there is? There's got to be more. Even though I was feeling grateful for what I had plenty to be grateful for. I had family, I had a job, I had friends, all of those typical things, shall we say. I was still constantly working on myself, and still had this constant feeling, this undercurrent of stifled potential or hidden desire that I wasn't letting come out, right? I was doing everything for everyone else, nothing for myself. And, they say that resentment is when you're not giving to yourself. And that's exactly where I was feeling. That's what I was stuck in. It was resentment,
Yeah. Christina,
So,
sorry, how long back was this when you were feeling the resentment?
well, all of these feelings, of course, are cyclical. We all go through them in a kind of a
Yes,
spiraling way.
totally. Yes.
But
Yes.
when
So when
this
was the first time when you started feeling like everything is fine, everything looks great, I am grateful, but still I have this underlying feeling that something is off?
Yeah, and something's missing, and I wanted more. I wanted more experience, more vibrancy, more positive experiences and things like that. And this was probably 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided on my birthday that I would start on my birthday, which was a Friday, and I believe today, of course, Friday is Try Day Friday, right? So I would try to do something every week for that year that would break me out of this funk or get me back into the flow and feeling like, I'm more. I was becoming more. And so that's how it started. That's how the journey started. And so
Wow.
basically, I didn't know it at the time. I didn't call it positive disruption at the time, but that's exactly what I was doing, was positively disrupting each week with some kind of new experience or
Mm-hmm.
an experiment or some kind of activity that would make me feel more alive.
Yeah. Give me an example. What did you try?
Oh my gosh. Well, again, that's kind of the basis of the book. So there's over 100 different things in the book. But for instance, that day, my birthday, when I decided to try it, I hired an astrologer, and I had an astrology reading of my natal chart. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, it's my birthday. I might as well go back to the very start
Birthday.
of
Yeah.
my birthday
Yeah.
and see how the planets were aligned and what spirit had in mind for me, and so on and so forth. And so that was really had a lot of great impact on me. I believe in astrology. I always have. I've always loved it. And it really was very informing about myself and my journey. And at that stage where I was, this guy just nailed it, and then yet predicted, as a horoscope does, kind
Mm-hmm.
of, what would be happening for me in the coming 3 to 5 years. And
Wow.
now looking back, of course, in retrospect, it was all exactly what happened.
Oh my God, amazing. What made you decide? How did this idea come to you? I'm asking this question because many women feel that. I feel like this podcast is dedicated to those women who are in that funk, who feel that something is missing, who have that inner desire, and they started to feel that, oh gosh, I'm not listening to myself more. They're becoming resentful of a lot of things in their life. But the usual path that most of us follow is more self-improvement. Something must be wrong with me. So let me go try, to do something that'll fix me. Let me go on a diet, or let me start this program, or let me, meditate more. I mean, a lot of the spiritual practices also people use kind of as a mirage for, uh, getting the real issue out in the mirror, right? We
Right.
kind of like put a balm on it, or we kind of like put a cover on all the things that we are supposed to be feeling with meditation, with journaling. So that's been my experience for sure, that I've been for years on the self improvement path, until I realized that, you know what, I don't like all the self improvement. I'm going to go down the route of self discovery now. I want to know who I am. I want to know what I'm here for. So many people are not able to make that distinction, but also not able to come up with, what do I do now? Okay, I don't want to do this, but what do I do? So what made you think of this beautiful idea that every week I'm going to try something new?
Well, that's the thing, is you're exactly right when you say that most of us are going through the motions. We want lives with more enthusiasm and energy and engagement and things, but we seldom know where to start
Yeah,
because we've been projecting those things onto the others, or saying, well, I'll create the party for somebody else, or I'll
right.
I'll make somebody else happy, or these kinds of things, right? So, and those tools like you were talking about, when people use them, the spiritual tools, and I put that in air quotes,
Right.
because then it strips away from what it's really meant to be. So, like, you're meditating, that's another task you know
Right.
so Instead, mindfulness is something that really I got involved in, and of course, yoga as well. But mindfulness, I decided to, my mindfulness is not sitting silent in meditation. Mine is mindfulness in motion.
Mm.
And because I frankly can't sit still very long anyway. But there is some kind of unstillness that you can still bring to these kinds of activities. So when I was in that funk, sure, I did all those things like taking the courses and seeking out counseling and talking to friends endlessly, all of that kind of stuff. But all that just made me feel even more, like a wadded up mess. And still, I'm spending money to get help that
Right.
I can do myself
Yeah.
and not spend any money really.
Yeah.
So that's when I started thinking about it. It's not about those external entities. It
Hmm.
was about me and my everyday. And so the difference between that word, right, which is difficult for some, every day as one word is the ordinary, the things that that are
It's the
everyday
normal.
aspects.
Right.
Right. You sleep, you eat, you do these kinds of things involuntarily almost.
Totally.
And then every day, two different words is something that, is each day, right? That time is marching on. So
Right. Right.
so I looked at it that way and I was like, okay, it's about my everyday. That's why I'm feeling this way every day, is because
Hmm.
my everyday was, sucky.
Right. Right.
So I thought, well, how can I disrupt? Although I didn't think of it at the time like
Of
that, but
course.
what can I do? How can I play with my everyday? And so I started with looking at each day and making a new name for it. And then focusing on whatever that name was, right? So it's like
Yeah.
Monday fun day, right? It's like, what can I do that would be fun? Even if it's just, one little thing that takes 10 minutes out of your day, it changed over time.
Yeah, yeah, it's like the cumulative effort. I'm just loving everything you're saying. I just want to reiterate for people to understand what Christina is saying. It's so simple yet so profound. So I absolutely love that instead of looking at your life in every day, one word, you changed your perspective. You just moved a few degrees and you just looked at it as every day, like two words. It's
Right.
mind blowing to me. It is like, wow. And often that's what happens. People think that they have to, I don't know, go in the Himalayas and meditate for months and months or achieve that level of stillness in their mind that they have no thought. Otherwise, they're doing meditation wrong. Or unless they have done, I don't know, 500 hours of yoga or whatever it is that our mind thinks that we have to do in order to achieve that mindfulness. It's those little 1 degree shifts, little perception changes that we need to do in order to get on the journey, get on the path. I absolutely love that. And you're saying that you didn't really make the entire day different. You were like, just, Monday would be fun day and I would do maybe one fun day. And the more you did it, the cumulative effort started to show in your life.
Yeah. And in fact, as soon as I started doing that, just for changing the name for a focus, giving me some place to start, right?
Mhm.
Then it escalated and completely took over, and I had these like 3 vision boards in my room with over 108 different things that I could do, not just for Fun Day Monday, but for just the experience or the things that I knew that I wanted to do, but I wouldn't allow myself to, or I
Yeah.
thought, oh, people will look down on it or they'll squelch it or whatever, right? So I started that way. So I started with the everyday,
Right.
each day, and then it turned into that all those things I could play with the everyday aspect. So Tuesday turned into Foods Day, and I
Mhm.
started playing with my food. People think about, oh, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, it means a whole lot of different things, right? And that's how I expanded it. So it was like if I had on one board Tuesday is Foods Day, then I expanded that to be I could eat all ethnic food for one week. I could eat all a different color of food every day. I could create some kind of new food. I could, whatever. It just went on and on.
It just, yeah, and you choose what it means to you. And I
Yeah.
love the idea because it's so simple to implement. Like if someone were to tell me, every day you're going to have to try a different food, or every day you're going to have to, like, fill your plate with all the things that you don't like, broccoli, for
Right.
me. Then I would give up, right? I would start on an enthusiasm, and then I would give up. That's why, diets don't work. But if
Exactly.
I were to look at, okay, Tuesday is one day where I'm going to try maybe one new food every day. Like, I can see this working even for my kids, by the way. I'm going to try it tomorrow.
Okay, good.
So
Yeah,
Wednesday,
especially the
maybe.
color, because it's like, what's your favorite color? Blue. All right, let's eat only blue food today. Well, you're in for some Smurf ice cream and maybe those blue gummy whales and maybe some blueberries, but there aren't real blue kinds of foods, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I did that.
I love that. Tell me a few things that you tried for food. Tell me something that you tried, you loved, and tell me something you tried and you were like, okay, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty experimental to begin with. So,
Uh-huh.
so for instance, one week I might do the food by color, but that could be a whole week's journey. On Monday, I would eat only white food, and Tuesday only orange food, and Wednesday yellow, and so on. Right,
Mhm.
and that was fun. I liked that, except for the white day because we shouldn't be eating white food to begin with. I don't think. you know
All the milk and all the cheese and all the
Oh
bread.
my God. Or even just a piece of chicken with cauliflower a bread. I was just like, ugh, it was just too bland for me because of course my handle is Kaleido Christina. So the
Yeah.
white was just like, eh. And of course, black food was troublesome too. So I don't
I'm
like to
trying to
eat
think,
black.
what did you eat in black food?
Well, actually, I do like charred food. So I just use that kind of, again, it's, putting your own signature on it, whatever that means to you, like you said. If
Yeah.
black food means really black food, like you're going to eat, squid ink and, something like that, then so be it. Otherwise, you could just char a marshmallow or char a hot dog or char
Yeah.
your fish or, whatever and call it black
Yeah.
food.
I love how this is also a road to unleashing so much creativity, which I know we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But let's move on. Now that we've started Monday and Tuesday,
Really.
let's finish the whole week. So what's
Besides, I'm getting hungry. So Wednesday, of course, I just turned the word into win, WINS
Mhm.
day. So Wednesday. So to celebrate those wins, because I think a lot of women, especially, don't know how to celebrate them or don't recognize or acknowledge the little things that could be considered wins. So it just keeps us feeling more stuck and more funky. So it's just like, ugh, nothing's happening to me. There's nothing to celebrate. So I suggest w- anything can be a win. It's how you interpret it. So some of these things, like some of the activities in my book, they're not must do or follow this recipe or this instruction manual. It's think about it, throw your own signature on it, and then sure, come back and tell me what you did. So
Yeah.
like, what could we celebrate as a win on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Right, it could be
Amazing.
finding the parking place right next to the grocery store door, or it could be how you zapped your spouse with a zinger and like, I still got it, kind of thing. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It's up to
Yeah.
you. And
I
then
love it. Yeah. That reminds me. So whenever I run my programs, that is one thing that we do. We used to do it on every Friday. Every Friday, I would put a post in our groups, and I would say, post 5 wins. And if you can come up with 10, that's amazing. And I would see the pattern would be, and my programs are usually 4 or 6 months. The pattern would be that for the first few weeks, the wins would be very, kind of that you can see and touch, right? Like, I made $10,000, or I got 2 new clients, or I did this. But then they would stop coming up with those wins. The first 2, 3 wins would be those, and then what about the other 2 wins? So I would encourage them to look at and find wins everywhere in their life. And the stuff they would come up with, they had to put 5 and 5, mostly people would do 7 to 8, was just amazing. They would be like, I got 30 more minutes of sleep today, or I
Mhm.
made my son to make me a sandwich, or I went for a walk today. That was
Yeah.
amazing. And it was so amazing to see those wins coming up. And for me, honestly, those wins were more important than any of the monetary benefits that they were sharing with me, because I knew that those wins are the ones that are going to make those bigger wins count. Where you're well rested, you're happy, you're joyful. There is no way you're not going to make money in your business.
Exactly.
Right?
Right. Plus, it's part of that, journey home to self, right? So it's like,
Exactly.
that's the win because I got sleep and because I took a walk and because I was taking care of myself,
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. I love that. What is Thursday?
Well, and again, uh, Thursday can be different things because I usually go based on the rhymes, right?
Yeah.
So, like again, Tuesday can be lots of other things as well, not just Foods Day. But
Right.
Thursday is Words Day because I am a word nerd, a colossal word nerd. So
Uh-huh.
I love words and language and all of that. So I turn it into that, and that can mean anything. You might learn three new words, right?
Mhm.
That you've come across in your readings that you just sort of skim over and you don't even worry about it. Like I have my own dictionary, volumes of it from every word that I ever come across that I don't know when I'm reading something. I immediately go and look it up and then write it down and I
Yeah.
try to use it 5 times at least so that I can then begin to own it. So,
Beautiful. I love it.
so that's one thing you can do for Thursday
Right.
words.
And I love that you're saying that this is what I made it. You can make it your own. So if you don't like words day, you can make it into something else. And I love the flexibility of it. And that's, I think, the difference between the constant self-improvement is that there is a 5-step method to follow. There is, like, if you don't do it exactly as that, then it's not going to work. And you're saying this is your life, this is your week, this is your every day. Do
Right.
it as you like. I love it. And Friday, you said it's try day, right?
Friday, right? So try something new or try something differently. You may have already tried it before, but try it in a different way or try it at a different time or, so it doesn't have to be something novel that you've never ever done before, but it could be just like you said, try a new food, right? Have you
Yeah.
ever eaten, octopus or whatever?
Yeah.
So it's just try something.
Uh-huh.
And it might be trying your hand at some kind of craft or skill or it's all trying really
Yeah.
because I don't believe what Yoda had to say that there is no try, there is only do. I believe that doing is trying or trying is doing. If you're
Totally.
attempting, if you're in action, then you're doing it. So,
Absolutely. What is some of the things, or maybe one thing that you tried that completely surprised you?
well, at this point, nothing surprises me. Well, that's not true because I'll get inspiration or ideas from other things. I'll think, oh, I'll do that, and I don't always wait till Friday to try it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Now
um,
it's become a part of your life.
yeah, exactly.
I
It's
think
the
you
way I
needed
live my
this
life.
kind of like framework, a system initially to get you out of the funk. Now it's part of your life. Now you're positively disrupting every day.
Exactly,
This is
and
your
in many
new
ways.
every day.
In many ways, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, and I often put in my groups and in my programs on Fridays to, give suggestions because people like, well, I tried a new box mix or whatever from the store. It
Right.
could be that simple though. It could be, it's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I haven't ever tried any gluten-free products. So I'm going to try that.
Hmm.
Like I'll eat the gluten-free cookie instead of the other one,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
just that simple. And it can be anything from trying a gluten-free product that you've never had before to,
Going for a hike, or
right.
spending a few minutes alone. A lot of moms don't get to do that. Like the moms that I know, we don't get to spend time alone. I remember when I was a mom to two small kids under 5, my only solace was the bathroom. I would often lock myself in the bathroom. In fact, that's where my business idea came from. Sitting on the pot, and with their 2 hands, with like 4 hands, with 2 kids visible under the door.
Oh
And
my God, that's hysterical.
that was my solace, to hide in the bathroom. And I think if you haven't had that, I also think that your soul will tell you what it needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for example, right now I've been having such big cravings to go spend time in nature. Like I just want to do it. Like I just want to go what I want to do is I want to rent a cabin in the woods for like maybe weeks and weeks. That's not going to be possible right now. So maybe I'll just go for a hike in the reservation, you know?
Right.
So it could be anything that they try, anything that.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you can see that your life needs that opening to
Mhm.
go for, rent a cabin in the mountains for weeks and weeks, right? You don't have that opening right now, but what can you do? What one small step can you take or try in order to have some semblance of that feeling, you know?
Yeah, because this isn't all or nothing. This isn't that if
Mm-mm.
you can't do it all, if you can't have it all, then you shouldn't do anything at all. If you
Right.
can't have maybe your whole day to yourself, if that's what you like, if that's
Mhm.
what you're craving for, then maybe just a few moments.
Right. Yeah. Or something from the past, like I went roller skating once because I wanted to see if I still had it, right? So I was like
Right.
the rolling skating queen when I was growing up.
That's
And
amazing.
so, but after college or whatever, we never did it again. So
Right.
it was like, okay, yeah. And one of my husband's grandgirls, or what I call our grandgirls, was having a birthday party and where she was learning how to roller skate. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going.
Oh my God,
So
so fun.
yeah, and so it can be anything that you did as a kid that you'd like to try again. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be brand spanking new. It just has
Yeah.
to be something that you want to try.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? I'm kind of like shifting gears here, but I think we women, we don't usually give ourselves the permission to try new things or to try again. I was talking to one of my friend yesterday, and I used to be a track and field athlete when I was in school. I used to run, and I was pretty good at it. And I stopped after school, and I haven't. I mean, maybe I've done running once in
Mhm.
between, but I haven't been a runner since then. And during the summer, actually, I just had this desire, like right now, what I'm feeling for going in nature. I had this big pull to go start running again. And
Mm.
I remember the first day I went, my big thing to stop me, like I could feel that fear, that self-doubt literally pulling me back, like not letting me even get out of my car was, no, you can't do this. You're not supposed to be running. You can't. You What are you, like, you're a 38-year-old woman with two kids. You can't run, or you can't run better than other people, like so many of those things, right? So I kind of fought with it, and I did eventually did start running again.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. But why do we do that? Why do we stop ourselves? Why do we not give ourselves permission?
Yeah, it's a lot of conditioning and, of ourselves and from society and parental and, there's many layers as you well know.
Yeah, yeah.
For each one of us, we experience similar things, but also very different in the way that we um, combat them, so to speak.
Right. Right. Exactly. So I love the idea of trying something new or trying something every day. And I love that you call it try, because it's not like you have to go run a marathon on day one. You just have to try.
Right. Just try something.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna run for 20 minutes. And then I remember I put a song on, I put a this kind of like a workout on Peloton app. And after the 20 minutes were up, I was like, I need to go another 20 minutes. This feels good.
Right.
I can
Definitely that
sort of
runner's high.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Loving the podcast, but want to go deeper into excavating the buried parts of you that are calling you home now? So that you can remember who you really are and return to the most authentic version of yourself. Join us in our first ever 2-day live experience, the Journey Home to Self live experience, happening on December 1st and 2nd. The best part, it's a virtual event, so you don't even have to get out of your house or get dressed. We are going to spend 2 days in a sacred container with other women to create potent and high-level transformation and transmutation. I'm going to guide you through the 4 stages of Journey Home to Self framework with rituals, sacred ceremonies, energy activations, guided meditations, and powerful journal prompts. You're going to walk away not only having made deep soul connection so that you can continue to do this work in community with others, but also get actual tools that will keep you on your journey home so that you can again and again keep coming back to your most authentic, your highest self. Check out all the information on the show notes. I look forward to spending these 2 days of beautiful transformation in our sacred circle. See you there.
I want to say one more thing about the Try Day Friday and the idea of trying things, and that is that the emphasis is on the word try, because it's not that you have to succeed or whatever that may mean to you as well, right? So I allow that openness for everyone to define that in their own terms. But for me, there's no failure if you try. You just tried. So no matter what happens, you get feedback. It's not fail or success. It's feedback. So like if you try eating squid ink or something, then it's like, ooh, not for me.
Not for me.
Then that's your feedback, right? It wasn't a failed attempt or a failed try just because you don't like it, right? Maybe 5 years from now you will. I mean, certainly when you think about how, in terms of food, how your tastes have changed over the years, things like you don't like broccoli now, maybe you did like it as a kid, or vice versa, right? I hated cauliflower as a kid. I wouldn't go near it, but now I love it every which way I can get it. So because I tried it again.
Totally. And I also feel that even if you did not like it or do not like it, you will have so many great stories to tell.
Of course.
It's going to be an adventure. The time I went to this and this place and tried squid ink, how did that turn out? Like, and that's what it is about. You'll have stories to tell, you have memories and experience. I think what you're saying is that all this gets us out of funk and adventure, trying new things, experimenting. Those are the things that get us out of our funk.
Absolutely. Looking at things, looking at each day differently, and then doing something, taking some action toward making that different. Because you named it something different, so then make it different. You don't just name it.
Absolutely love it. I want to see this everywhere. I want to see this in schools. I want to see it on the Today Show. I want to see this everywhere. I feel like this can have such a big impact. You're on to something, Kristina. I can.
Wow. Well, I hope so. It's a top. Trying to make positive disruption is a top priority for me. So.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'm sure the listeners would too. So, Kristina, the more I become my true self, the more I realize that there is no joy comparable to living in the present moment, right? So when I'm in the present moment, I feel that I can enjoy my life more. What has your experience been with that? And do you have any exercises, any activities that people can share? Of course, you've shared the way that people can change their days, but is there anything else that you would say on that?
Oh, yeah. I would say that you're spot on in terms of that present moment being the joyful moment, right? Or just being present with whatever is happening. And that's mindfulness. And then, sure, if you're a meditator and that kind of stuff, I feel like that will really help you to listen deeply and to relax and reflect what's coming on the inside, so to speak. And so for me, mindfulness is ultimately, you can't do any of these activities like in the book or even what I've just shared with you, which are all on my creative kickstart calendar. So without being in the present moment, right? Like today is Monday. So if you're going to make Monday fun day, then you have to be here, present and without judgment. Like what's fun or who says that's fun or who doesn't and so on and so forth. So again, it's all about mindfulness, but it's mindfulness in motion for me. So
I love that you said that you have to make these things without judgment, because it'll lose its charm and it'll lose its creativity and fun if we judge it, if we like, did I do it the right way, did I not do it the right way, did I make the fun day fun enough for other people to say that it was fun enough. It's just doing. And I love that you talk about the phrase energy is alchemy. Can you talk a little bit more about that? I just love that phrase.
Yeah. Well, so action is alchemy because, you know, I'm all things positive, but not to a toxic level.
Yeah.
But the idea that you can think positively, right? Or you can do your meditation, you can be in thought, but until you take that action, nothing has changed. Just your thoughts, just your mind, and not really your mind, like when we say, oh, I've changed my mind about something. I mean the thoughts that are constantly circulating. So action is what will change the feeling, that joy, that presence, that the whole journey. I mean, and like we said, the smallest action. So for instance, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty, you're thinking, and then you try to cure it with positive thinking, like, oh, water would be so quenching, or, I can't wait to have another sip of this coffee or tea or whatever it is. That's just thinking.
Yeah.
So, and it's great. Optimism is super, but you need to take the drink.
Right. You need to get up and get yourself a glass of water or call someone to give it to you.
Do something. Yeah, any action at all, right? And again, just like when we get kind of chained to our desks, or in that flow mode is different than, because that's a joyful mode, than just pushing through. Right? It's like, oh, I need to, we move, we stretch, we do these things. That's action, but really, your butt's still hurting because you still have it sitting in that chair. So get up. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
just stand up. And I mean, and again, it's 1 minute out of your life.
Right, right. I often talk about, taking this journey home to self. And I talked about in the first couple of episodes that we stay at the threshold of this journey, because we're so scared of stepping into the threshold, because there's a big unknown there. You don't know what self means. You only are very attached to your known reality. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you're so attached to it.
Hmm.
And often we stay in that liminal space. And that happened to me. I stayed in that liminal space for so long. And and that's been my experience even with my clients, that clients come to me and they say, we don't know what our purpose is. We don't, like, we want to know what our purpose is. So we're going to just sit and meditate. We're going to journal pages and pages until our purpose comes to us. And I was also doing the same thing. I was just sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting and praying and hoping that I would be revealed my path. I be revealed my purpose. And
Hmm.
one day it was like, you got to get up. You got to do something. And you got to take one action. The purpose is not going to come to you. It's already there. You know it. It's inside of you. It's not going to come to you. You have to walk towards it. And when I started taking action, that's when, slowly by slowly, it was like a puzzle piece. It was revealed to me.
Sure.
Right now, even this podcast, I kept thinking about it. Should I do a podcast? Should I start
Mhm.
these conversations? Maybe I'll get a hit in my meditation. Maybe I'll, like, let me do a psychic reading and see what the psychic says about it. We stay in that liminal space longer than we're supposed to. Sometimes we have to be there. Sometimes we have to be there because we have to shed the masks. Sometimes we have to be there because we have to shed the limiting beliefs, learn some lessons. But then there comes a time that we have to get out of it. We have to fight the inertia, because that liminal space then becomes your new known. It becomes your new comfort level. And you have to slowly stand up and start taking action. And that's when things happen. That's when it's like, I see it as a push off the first domino. Um,
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, exactly. And I love the fact that you were talking about the once you take that action, then everything like a puzzle starts to come together, right? And that for me is all about what I call the universe, which is Alice. And so
mhm.
this is my nickname. And the thing is that we create our realities from our thoughts, right? There's nothing in this physical world exists that didn't start with a thought like,
Yeah.
hey, I'll make this coffee cup, or whatever. So, but that's just the thought, right? And then you create it, co-create your reality with Alice, or whatever name you give to the higher power.
Yeah.
because then, like you said, once you start, then she conspires to make it all come together for you instead
Mhm.
of just sitting hoping that your meditation practice or going deep enough will give you a hit or a download or something from the divine. You have to, I mean, I love all of that kind of practice,
Of
but
course.
also then once you get off that cushion, you're the human doer, right?
Yeah.
That's the spiritual being that
Yeah.
we're talking about who's going to help you. You're going to have to be the one to take the action. The
Yeah.
universe
Yeah.
is conspiring and the power is, circulating for you to create with it. But
Totally.
you're on this planet. So you're the human doer.
You're the human doer. Absolutely. And, I talk a lot about the feminine and the masculine energy as well. Right now, the world is purely in the masculine energy where they're just doing, doing, doing without the being. And then we get caught up and then we're just being without the doing. And it
Right.
has to be a combination of both. It has to be the feminine energy and the masculine energy. So the
All about
feminine
the
energy
balance.
tells us what to do, and then the masculine goes and takes the action. I know, Christina, I didn't talk about this before we recorded the conversation, and I didn't send this as a question, but I just loved that you have a name for your higher self. I want to go a little bit deeper into that. Tell us again what's the name of your higher self?
Alice, like the woman's name Alice, but it's really an acronym that stands for A, loving, intelligent, conscious energy.
Oh my goodness, I love it. How did you come to it? How did you decide that you wanted to name your higher self?
Well, I was, in the spiritual circles and things, and everybody was calling it something different. I believe that our thoughts create our reality, and that the universe conspires, and and there were so many funny names that, and not just funny, but also, God or the divine
Right?
source, whatever, right? And so I created my own deck of oracle cards,
Mm-hmm.
and the oracle cards are called conscious energy
Mm-hmm.
because that's what it's all about. And that's also what positive disruption, again, like I said, when it chose me that path, it was because I was putting conscious energy into positively disrupting my funk, and getting back
Right.
into the flow of the universe in my life and my creating of it. So that's where it started. And I started thinking about conscious energy, and then through different groups and stuff, we were talking about, how the universe is so intelligent and loving, that some people don't think of it necessarily as benevolent, but I think it is, and so on. So again, through conversations and stuff, I thought, yeah, I don't want, and of course, I'm a word nerd. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to just keep saying the universe with, capital U or whatever. I didn't want to have to explain it all the time. So
Yes.
I just said, it's a loving, intelligent, conscious energy. I'm going to call it Alice. It's spelled Alice.
Oh
So,
my God. So good. So good. And you know what I love about this? We've never talked about this in the podcast, and this might be a little too much for our listeners to understand right now. Maybe I'll do a solo episode to talk about this. I love this because most of us, when we are co-creating or we want to manifest something, we think that there is a force outside of us that's going to bring to us. Right.
right,
So even that is we're giving a power away. We're always saying, God, universe, divine, go bring that to us because I am powerless.
right,
However, the divine lives in you. The divine is you. The universe is in you. You are the God goddess. And you manifest that. You co-create that with your divine nature, with the divine part of you. The human part of you and the divine part of you co-creates that.
exactly.
And I love that you gave it a name so that you gave it a name, a being, so that you know that it's coming from inside of me. And it's my higher being. And this is my human being, which is Christina. And we both do this work together. I just
Right.
love, I just thought that there was such a profound message to it for anyone who's ready for it. I know that a lot of people are like, what the heck is she talking about? She's saying, I am God, I am divine. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it does take a lot for people to get that though. It's not an overnight thing. And especially like when we think about even in this conversation, how far we've come from being, stuck and stifled and self-doubt and not permitting ourselves and feeling resentful and things like that to the fact that I'm goddess.
Yeah.
I'm the divine. I have source energy.
Yeah.
It's just, it is hard.
It is
It's,
hard.
it doesn't happen overnight,
Totally.
but
Totally.
if you can think of the fact that you are the creator and the creation all
Hmm.
at once, then that's the way I look at it, because of course I'm all about creativity. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
No,
I'm
totally.
creating this.
Yeah.
Everything that happens, and I'm also a manifester in terms of human design and all that kind of stuff. But
What? Me too.
I knew it. I could feel it.
Oh my God. I'm a
Yeah.
huge human design nerd. We've had a couple of episodes on human design. We'll have a few more as well.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, I am too. Yeah, like we are the people who are giving a different take on the regular life. So I could feel it that you are a manifester as
Yeah. So, but again, I'm not alone, right?
well.
I'm the being and the doing, right? So,
Absolutely. And I see in symbols and images, and I see it as an infinity, right? Like
mhm.
you said, one part of the infinity, if you see an infinity, which I always wear a necklace of, listeners can't
Oh, I love that. That's
thank
beautiful too.
you. There's one part of it that is it's the divine, and the one part it's you, but it's you are the creator and the creation. It all comes together. I
Mm.
absolutely love it. I can totally see all these things, how it can not only just get us out of our funk, but unlock so much creativity within us, unleash our own potential, and send us on that path to more joy, more peace, which is journey home to self. What would you say your biggest lessons have been from being on this journey yourself?
Hmm. Well, again, I would have to say that these lessons of life that, for lack of a better term, are on a spiral, right? We just keep coming back around to, not like it's a treadmill, but we do often come back around to relearn lessons
Mhm,
that I
mhm.
learned, 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe I found myself here again. Now I gotta, it's about balance or non-resistance or,
Yeah.
all those things. And of course, for me, what the biggest thing I've learned, so like I think of myself as a recovering academic
Mhm.
because I was in academia for, 20 plus years. And I meaning and I'm still addicted. I'm still addicted to learning and teaching or sharing or offering learning opportunities. But since I'm not in the traditional classroom or the advising office anymore,
Yeah.
I'm on a journey, I think, to my truest creative spirit. And
Mm.
that is, something that I've sprinkled throughout, or I've had like that year of projects. It's like, oh, this is creative, and that got me out of the funk and into a flow. But then again, work life and everything else comes into play, and
Yeah.
keep coming back around to that
Yeah.
I am innately creative, just as you are, just as everyone is. And, it's not about whether I have artistic ability or not. It's
Mhm.
I'm the creator and the creation. So I need to use that creative energy and spirit and nature to produce or to manifest, to create my life.
Yeah.
So, and when I was in the classroom, though, I did have a teaching philosophy, even though I hate the word teaching because I can't teach you anything. I can just offer you learning opportunities.
Right.
But so that philosophy was one word, passion. And yet, as a word nerd, I would parse that out into three separate words: pass, I, on.
Mm.
So everything that I am, everything that I have, everything that I know, everything that I can, I will pass on to the students or whoever is up for that learning opportunity. Again, I can't teach them anything. I can't cut your head open and pour in this knowledge or this
Yeah.
information. I
Yeah.
can just offer you this opportunity. And then if you take it, awesome. If
Mm.
not, then that's your choice. You'll learn it, you'll learn something else, or you'll learn it later or whatever. So yeah, I think that's the lessons, is to just continue to um, offer or pass what I have on to
Mhm.
the listeners, whoever
Wow.
will listen.
Yeah, I just had chills down my spine, Christina, when you said pass I on. I just relate to it so closely. I'm a 3 by 5 profile line, and that's literally my life path that, what
Mhm.
I learn, I pass it on,
Right.
share with my own experience. And, truly, I think that's why I was guided to start this podcast, because I don't want this to be a place where I'm teaching people. I want this to be a place where I'm sharing my own experience
Exactly.
from the place of this is what I learned, this does not work, this worked, and trials and errors and failures and success, and any insights.
Yeah, that's why I have trouble with the word teaching, and
Right.
even in our human design of informing, you know, I'm just like, uh, I mean, I get it, I understand it, intellectually, but I'm like, no, I just want to offer you this learning opportunity because this
Right.
is what I experienced and learned. And here's some way. That's why I say about the book, it's not an instruction manual, it's a creative companion. So
Mm,
you figure, I'll show you what I do. I tell the stories and I tell you, the activities that I enacted, but it's up to you to
to make it
tweak.
your own. Yeah,
Right. Try
absolutely.
it if you will, and then make it your own, and then let me know because, inspiration is infinite, right? So I learn all the time from other people, and I invite that kind of inspiration and magic to say, "Oh, yes, now I have something new to try too," right?
Yeah, I love it. So, Christina, tell us more about the book. It's called The Art of Positive Disruption, right?
That's right. Yeah. And so it's the art of positive disruption with a tagline. It's a mouthful that says 123 ways to create a kaleidoscopic life. And of
Hmm.
course, kaleidoscopic meaning, I believe that your life is a kaleidoscope.
Hmm.
And in it, we all have similar but different things in terms of what's in that lens that, those broken fragments, the beads, the pieces, all that kind of stuff,
The
but that make up the
colors.
whole. Yeah, and the colors, of
Yeah,
course. And
yeah.
there's even dark shards of broken glass, because we
Mhm.
all have pain and those kinds of darkness in our life as well. But the whole thing, that whole toy, if you will, is dark if you just let it sit on the side table, right? It's just
Mhm.
sitting there, or it's in a drawer on a shelf or whatever. You got to pick it up. Here's the action. You got to pick it up, look into it, hold it up to the light of the universe, right?
Mhm.
And then start cranking that baby around and just imagine all the beautiful patterns and designs and uh, ideas that will come, that will be revealed, and they're all yours
Mm,
because it's your life that's the kaleidoscope that you're
mhm.
looking into.
I love it. Where can we find it?
Well, I'm in the midst of it. It will be released in January, the book.
Mhm, mhm.
So there's a wait list that I can give you a link to.
Absolutely. Definitely
So
we'll put it in the show notes.
great. And so all you'd have to do is sign up on the wait list. And then as soon as, and about a month before it will actually release, then I'll be in contact with you and we'll get all that wrapped up. That's no problem at all.
Amazing. I absolutely love it, and I would implore all the listeners to check Christina out and start practicing. Maybe the episode releases on a Wednesday, even though we're recording it on a Monday. Maybe for today, tell us what was your win. Both of us are on Instagram. Christina will put your handle in the show notes. You can follow us at Journey Home to Self and tag us. What's been your win today? Tell us about your Wednesday. And Christina, you and I can share ours as well on our own Instagram. So that will be a good way for you to start. And like I said, this journey cannot be done alone. So we all do it together. Christina, you also have a beautiful gift to share with our audience. Do you want to tell us about it?
Sure. It's what I call the creative kickstart calendars because,
Uh-huh.
again, often don't know where to start or what to do. So it's basically kind of what we've talked about in today's conversation. So it's a guide, if you will, through 7 days. The calendar has all 7 days that I've renamed. And again, just suggestions. You can now, having listened to the podcast, you can make it your own, but it's on my website. So it's free, downloadable, instant. So all you have to do is go to kaleidoliving.com and it's there on the homepage.
Great. We'll also link it up so that you can have access to it right away. Christina, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. You are such a beam of positive energy and light. And I love that you exist and your creativity exists in the world. Thank you for making the positive disruption so easy to understand and doable for us.
Well, thank you for having me on and for letting me express all of that. There's so much to it, it seems, but I would say that this has been my win for sure, just to be here with you and talking about this. So thank you.
Amazing. Mine too. Thank you again, Kristina. Thanks for listening to Journey Home to Self. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. And of course, your 5-star reviews are always appreciated. Thanks again, and see you next week.